It's a miracle, doc, they counted me out. Moment of truth, counting it down. Underdog story was down for the count. Back on my feet, back with a mic, back on the beat, back with a family, then back in the streets. The game on lock, I stand with a key. Standing my ground, I am counting the fleet. Standing my ground, I am counting my feet. Taking a stand, embracing my destiny, shaking his hand, flipping the script.
What's going on, everybody? It's Sunday night CrossFit Talk. And it is halftime of the Bills-Ravens game, where the Bills lead 21-10. And that is Carolyne's Bills now, right? You jumped ship from the
I jumped ship and I'm cheering for the Bills. Yep. I got really excited when there's a I guess Lamar kind of fumbled it a little bit and then they took it. So apparently my heart's with the Bills now.
Yeah.
I could have picked it. I had two choices. Detroit and was a good choice as well because I mean they are the team that I was closest to growing up. But I will go with the Bills.
So I got to say, I've grown up a Bears. I mean, I was a Bears fan since the early 80s. The Detroit has been in my conference every minute of my fandom. Mm-hmm. You're supposed to hate the people in your conference, but I really wanted the Lions to win this year.
Same.
And because they just have never been to the Super Bowl. Like,
right.
I was devastated last night.
It was
devastated.
Rough.
And I'm not even a Lions fan.
Yeah. Did you see Rich was there with his daughter?
I did see Rich was there with his daughter, and I missed what Carolyne said.
I said I just like the Lions team. I just think that I like Dan Campbell. I like the team. I think they're gritty. They had such a good season and then just didn't put it together yesterday.
It was a bad game. Holy cow. They looked, I mean, we were riddled with injuries. Like defense is what it was. And Robinson going out right away was not good. But man, Goff it was bad. I mean, if we can't score to keep up with them, it's over.
You scored 31 and still lost like that.
I know, but you have to you got to be matching them, right? Yeah. That's how bad our defense was.
Yeah. I liked the write-up Rich did, and it really touched my heart because I felt that way when I took Corey to a U2 concert because U2 was my favorite band growing up. To take her to that concert and share that experience with her was exactly how he wrote up that even though they lost, it's a memory he'll always have.
Absolutely.
Taking her to the game. So yeah, very cool. Well, on less depressing news, Carolyne went and saw my favorite musical of all time.
Yeah,
what did you think?
I saw The Lion King today with Lex. It was so good. Their costumes are so impressive. The singing's obviously great, but yeah, it was the first time I had seen it and I loved it.
Did they do the march in of the animals?
Oh yeah. Yep.
Is that whole march in breathtaking?
Yeah. Yeah, it's great. It's so nicely done.
It is. I only have one criticism of the play since, we critique everything here. And that is right after the intermission, the frolicking in the grass to represent that they had consummated their relationship, I thought was a bit over the top. And not in the movie or the original story at all. But yeah, other than that, it is a perfect musical.
They have some little local jokes too that they threw in there for Toronto in the one I saw. So I don't when was the last time that you saw yours?
Oh gosh, it's probably been 10 years.
Yeah, and I'm sure there's been a lot of adjustments and just different little tweaks depending on where it is.
Okay.
But yeah, no, it's great.
Yeah. You also did a comp this weekend?
I did. Lex wanted to do a Paris comp, a local Paris comp. So we had a really, really busy weekend. She came in Thursday and then on Friday I took the day off work and she had Nexus interviews to do on both sides of the border just to facilitate travel because I have my Nexus. So whenever we're in the same car together, I can't take the Nexus lane if she doesn't have her Nexus. So that'll facilitate.
Can you explain what that is?
It's just a trusted traveler. So you can use it at the airports, but it's really useful for when you go over a bridge, the driving borders, I guess.
Okay.
You have a different lane that you can go to. So sometimes when the bridge is backed up, you just go through the Nexus lane. It's much, much faster, less questions being asked normally, and less people in the lane. So now that she'll have that, we can travel a little bit faster together. And then, so we went to a local gym in the Buffalo area that day as well. And yesterday was our Paris competition. And like on Tuesday, she wasn't even sure whether she was going to compete because like she kind of messed her back up a little bit during a heavy back squat at training, and then popped a few leaves and was still able to do everything during the weekend, and like a very, 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 very easy like 220 complex. That was just like she could have had maybe 235 in her for the complex. It was like 3 deadlifts, 2 hang cleans, and a jerk, and she just like from the hips just like power cleans, push jerk, and I'm like, oh, okay.
And if you've not seen Lex compete, she is the power part of the duo, where Carolyne is more the gymnastic side of the house. And you guys won.
Yeah, we ended up winning. There's actually a few really good teams that were there, so it wasn't like a shoe in every workout. Like we had to put in a good effort every workout, and there were some tough workouts. The worst one was the first one we had. It was like the quads just blew up. It was 10 rounds, you go, I go, 12 cals on the bike erg, 9 box jump overs, like lateral, you could rebound, and 6 thrusters at 95 pounds. You would complete a full round, and then you would tag your partner. But it was like basically like a minute on, a minute off, and your legs were just burning. That was my favorite workout of the weekend, though.
So Jamie tried to do an insane thing today. And I'll let her explain it, because to run outdoors, my goodness. To run outdoors, it's called the Frostbite Relay.
Mm-hmm.
And that looks like you truly were frostbite.
It was, yeah. I've probably been doing this for like 14 years.
One more time.
Show that.
Yeah, one more time, please.
Yeah,
that is insanity.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was like 15 degrees. Real feel was like 5 or something. So it was actually like a little bit warmer at like 7 when we got there, and it kept dropping like a degree as we were going. And it was not really snowing. It was not snowing in Grand Rapids really at all. But Holland was snowing, and it was snowing the further you basically run around the lake, and so you get the lake effect. And yeah, so my leg, I'm the worst. Everyone has a picture like that, but mine's the worst. My leg was like right into the wind, and snow was just in my face the whole time. I like could barely see where I was running, but it was not the worst year that we've done it. We've been there when it's been like -2 with like a -15, and we've been there in like really blizzard conditions where you like can't. I mean, one year this is before we got smart and got yak tracks, but one year we like screwed screws into our shoes so that we could like grip the ground at all, because the footing's not great out. They don't really plow out on one of the streets. Holland is a beautiful town. They have heated sidewalks. It's like, high end town. So it's nice when you're in town, but the second you get out of town, like 2 miles in, you're at the mercy of the roads. And it was cold, but it was fun. I only did like 4.2 miles. So it's a full marathon, but we had 7 people on our team. So
I think I said this last year when you did it. I did one New Year's Day 5K, and the snow on the trail was so bad that I had to run in short, choppy steps to like not fall.
Mm-hmm.
My legs ached for weeks after that, because I changed my running completely.
Yeah. And
I swore I would never, it just wasn't worth it for me to do a bad weather run like that again. And Ken, I think, is on par with that. He tried yesterday in Minnesota at -14. It was a no-go after a quarter mile, turned around, so a half mile total.
Yeah. I mean, I can't blame you. Yeah, my back is usually really tight when I finish because I'm like running with like a little bit different gait, and protected running it's just never good. But yeah, my legs are, and you get in the car because you're driving to the next station to get your next person. Like you finish running and you jump in the car for one, you want to warm up. And so you don't cool down, you don't stretch your legs, you're just like cramped in a vehicle for the other 2 hours or whatever, So yeah, my legs are super tight right now. And I'm exhausted in general, but it's fine. We'll be fine tomorrow.
I don't want to do any part of this cold running. Like, nope.
So Chris G says 75 here in Florida, WZA weather.
Must be nice.
I've been to WZA twice. Never been 75. Never.
Yeah. It doesn't ever seem to be great. Yeah. Rainy.
But I want to share one more thing before we get into the rundown, and that is Miss Carolyne shared something. I don't know what we're calling it. But
the Kip-ups.
Oh yeah.
So this got 60 some comments. This is a new movement. It's at WZA next weekend. No, just kidding. How many videos did you get of people attempting this?
About 3.
Okay.
Two of them were people at my gym. A teenage boy that trains, and then one of the coaches. But I haven't seen a female do it.
Yeah, Denise Moore attempted at 66 years old, and you have to like love her for trying.
Yeah.
But it wasn't much of a kip up. She just kind of rolled right up into a standing position.
I think those are called like deck squats.
Yes.
Yeah. Still,
and like that's like the perfect scaling to it. And like you could totally do that movement and do a deck squat where you don't do the actual kip up, or for the scaled version of that, it would just be lay down and get up however you want. And it's very functional. I mean, get to a position on your back, stand, like get up how you want, and then you could step over the box. Like you could scale it. Just saying.
Well, I love like Hattie Canyo, just bruh. And the barbell spin tagged the NorCal Classic guys, because they'll try anything out there. Yeah. So who knows? Maybe it'll be part of NorCal Classic this year.
Would love it. I still got to do those qualifiers. I haven't done them yet.
And you have another week?
Oh. Yeah. A little bit over that.
Okay. Denise says, I can still jump on the 24-inch box with no issue, though.
That's great.
Yeah, that is great.
She amazes me. She is so fit for her age. She's so fit for like 10 years younger than she is. Mm-hmm. It's amazing. She's so cool. Okay, so let's close that down. Now we'll go to the rundown. We found out this week that the games are going to Albany, New York. Thoughts on that?
I've never been. I didn't go to that. Like that was what, the East Regional back in.
Mm-hmm. I've been to the East Regional there. What
year?
It was fine. Wasn't it like inside a hockey rink? Like most of them were just like inside I think the East ones I've been is like Connecticut, Albany. I think Albany.
So is this a different venue than the East Regional was in when it was in Albany, or is it? It is. Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
It is actually the biggest arena that the games will ever have been in.
Oh, wow.
Oh, wow.
It's bigger than Fort Worth.
Oh, really?
Way bigger than Madison. Yeah. It's like 1,000 more seats than Fort Worth.
Should be good. Like, new city, new ideas, fresh start, which is what was needed. They definitely couldn't go back to Fort Worth. And I don't think Fort Worth wanted them to come back after the reputation from last year. And I think they needed a change. And I think that should be, we'll see. I think it'll be good.
So fully indoors? You think?
Oh no.
What?
There's nothing like right around the arena, and
Yeah.
you'd have to go to another spot of the city.
Right.
I did some research earlier in the week just to like, first let me answer Denise. Bigger, that's promising. The Games has never had a problem selling tickets for the Games. That has never been their problem. It's all the stuff leading up to it that they have the problem.
Yes.
So I did some research into the city. The airport, like all the major airlines fly into there, as well as Southwest and Allegiant. So you have a couple like economy options, as well as Delta, United, American. It's an international airport. Most people in the comments of the week said that's because of Canada, but everybody I've talked to from Florida to California has found direct flights, which is promising because that was not happening in Madison.
No, in Madison, you had to either go to Chicago or Milwaukee and then rent a car or take a bus.
Or fly to Detroit and then fly to Wisconsin it was crazy. But, and then the metro area is actually bigger than Madison. So including suburbs, it's bigger than Madison. Now its downtown is smaller than Madison by about half. So little of this, little of that.
Like I'm always going to have a soft spot for Madison because that's where I went to school. And I just have like memories there. And I just think Madison's a very beautiful city. It's very quiet in the summer when they had the games. Like it's not when the actual students are really in town and it's rowdy, but like I'm always going to have a soft spot for Madison for sure.
Yeah. So Clock saying direct flight from California. Yeah. I talked to Amanda Hari, who has a channel, a CrossFit channel herself. She looked into flights, direct flight from Northern California to Albany.
Like San Francisco?
About $450 was the price. So not even that terrible.
Yeah.
The more I was thinking about Madison, like where the games were wasn't the best part of the town.
No one uses that place. It's literally like an old rundown. Like it's literally
right, exactly.
an area that nobody goes during the year. There's some random concerts maybe, but like it's not utilized. Like it's not where the actual facilities are for the campus, which are like ridiculously nice.
Yeah.
If you think about it, without the memories of going to the games at Madison, the arena had broken down seats. It was old. It wasn't very big. It had bad sight lines in some spots. The venue outside, CrossFit had to build up to have the outdoor field and all that stuff. The vendor village was not air conditioned and it was hot and stale in that building. Like there's a lot of things that could be better. And maybe Albany, we get not quite like the distance from the arena to vendor village, and maybe something better for a vendor village in Albany. Just my hope. And maybe the arena is a little newer or more well kept.
Should be.
So yeah. Ken is saying, isn't it the state fairgrounds in Madison?
No, Albany, I think.
Albany? It is not a fairgrounds in Albany. It is smack downtown. It is a big arena.
I guess
more like Fort Worth than Madison.
I'm curious whether they'll ever put turf inside similar to Rogue. Now that you've seen Rogue do it at the Rogue Invitational, like they could do one day that they have the turf and then the next day all of a sudden the turf is gone and it's flooring.
And Ken is saying, yes, Madison is what he was talking about. I don't know if it was a state fairgrounds. I know it was more known for agriculture than anything. So, Jody, it is not the same place as where the regionals were. Same city, different venue. So, And Larry's right. Getting around Fort Worth was not easy. The traffic was really bad there. So maybe we have something, again, a little bit in between the two that may turn out to be even better. With all the research I've done, it looks like it's a pretty nice place with lots to do. I booked an Airbnb for a 3-bedroom Airbnb already just to be safe if we decide to go. And $1,400 for Wednesday to Monday.
Wow.
So not bad at all.
Yeah, that's a good deal.
So, yeah. So I think it's going to work out. I think it's going to be a good move. But we'll see, because we'll get into that in a second. So the next thing up is last week we touted the Medeiros Hopper Pepper part 1. This week they did part 2. I think 2 nights ago.
Mm-hmm.
And they actually get into the prize money and the breakdown. And that really, if you're doing the game season, you have to finish on the podium if you want to be a professional athlete. What they deem to be a professional athlete. He said, because then Hopper was the big one. Like, if I finish 5th again, I'm making 30 grand. And that's not enough to live on.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, most of those athletes that consider themselves professional CrossFitters, if they do, like, they're either living at home with their parents where they can save some money there, and then their additional income they can save so they can consider themselves professional, or they have other income from sponsors. Like, that's the only way that you can consider yourself professional. Like, there's a lot of people that say that they're professional CrossFitters, but they don't really make any money to consider themselves.
Well, I think we talked about this last week. The number one person gets more money in the new breakdown if there's open signups that match that. But everybody below that is making way less than they did last year. And that's what they were kind of diving into.
Yeah.
And that they're going to have to do both seasons to make enough money to kind of make it work for them.
Yeah, which is why both season is an earning opportunity for these athletes, which there's nothing wrong with that. Like, it's just, at the end of the day, like, they're just trying to make an income. So you can't fault them for doing both and trying to make a living if that's their full career.
What I found really interesting in this discussion was Dallin said exactly what we did last week, where it's going to be a new normal of what you compete at, like more of a steady, get my body ready for multiple competitions as opposed to peaking for one competition a year or 2 competitions a year. It's going to be, and he called it mini peaks. It's going to be a bunch more mini peaks as opposed to like one big peak, which that part I find fascinating, is how the training is going to switch for these athletes who are doing multiple competitions.
I feel like that's sort of how it's been for Masters. Like, there's not ever really been an off season.
Yeah, but you're not doing a competition like every other weekend, and they're going to have to doing both of these seasons. There's going to be times you're competing in a 2 or 3 week period.
I think it's really just a few months of that. It's really that May, June that happens. And after that, they can be pretty selective on when they compete throughout the year. And, but that May, June is the ones where you could find yourself having to do multiple competitions in order to qualify for the games, whether that's online semifinals followed by an in-person, you don't qualify another in-person, like that rate, like those few weekends, that's going to be the difficult part. But other than that, like, most of them for the open, they can cruise through that. There's no quarterfinals now. So the next big thing will be that April, May, June semifinals.
CrossFat says both seasons can each pay less if athletes can make money from both seasons. And that may be what we're looking at is there's one pot of money. And now instead of everybody going for the one competition and all the money, now that pot is split between two things that you now have to enter to get your cut of the whole pie. Does that make sense?
Well, we still haven't seen any kind of breakdown for the WFP season.
Yeah.
To even know what's on the line for them. And obviously there's been some rosters that haven't been filled on both sides. So we're still waiting to see whether those are even filled up for the top 20. But I'm curious to see some sort of breakdown of how things
I'm really excited to see a breakdown of that. Larry Young, more work for less money, and congratulations on becoming a grandfather.
Yeah.
I don't know if this is your first. Do you go by grandpa or do you go papa, or what's the name you use, Mr. Young? The other part of this week's episode was they surprised Hopper with a visit from Luke Parker to discuss the fact, and I don't know if you even saw this, Jamie. Last week it was revealed that Jason Hopper was watching The Bachelor the year Luke Parker was on.
Oh my God.
He would go into his DMs and blast him for the stupid stuff he would do on the show.
Oh my gosh.
And then met him on a plane. They got to know each other, and Luke's, hey, what's your Instagram? And he goes, hey, I already have a message from you. And there's all the messages that he DM'd him while he was on The Bachelor.
That's hilarious.
So then this week, Medeiros and Pepper got Luke to come on and surprise Hopper.
Hopper's face was so red.
And tell his side of the story of meeting meeting Jason and how it all came out.
Oh my gosh.
It was great. The three of them are must-watch television right now.
Yeah.
Like these two episodes, I can't get enough. And they're doing one more next week. And they actually kind of said maybe they're going to keep it going. Now, I've heard athletes say this a bazillion times, and they last 2 or 3 episodes. So yeah, it's just been great. And they've been very open and honest with each other about like stupid stuff they've done. Larry says, yep, that's my first. That will be up to Abby. I'm not pushing a name. Yeah, that's cool. Another great story this week was Justin Medeiros talking about this teen athlete that he could not beat. And it turned out to be George Sterner.
Okay.
Who has kind of disappeared for a little bit, but now he's going to be at Wodapalooza competing again. And Justin's actually excited to see him, to see kind of where they both are, because when they were teen athletes, he could not touch him as a teen athlete.
Interesting.
George Sterner was good.
Yeah.
It's like that, like Nick Palladino, like they were so good and then they just kind of, I don't know if it was injuries, faded out, school life, went to different things. Yeah.
There was one funny moment where they said we could come on every week and then talk about our mental state. And like, I was like, yeah, I'll come on and go, this week I'm sad. But it's, so I hope they keep it going because it's really entertaining. And it's just like 3 brothers trash talking the entire time, and really well done.
That's awesome.
So if you have not checked those out, you've got to. The stories are worth it. And it's funny, I don't have this in notes. Bob Uecker passed away this week, who was an all-time legend baseball announcer. And when I was a kid, the baseball announcers were the storytellers of my generation. Like you would listen to them on the radio. My dad would listen to baseball all the time on the radio. And they would tell these stories of like when they're playing days and all the funny things they would do to each other and the practical jokes and all that. And that's what this show reminds me of. The behind the scenes, what they do to each other, how they rip on each other. And even, I think it's in the first episode, they taught Hopper and Medeiros talk about how they didn't like each other. Like, it's just been recently that they've kind of gotten over that.
Yeah. Yeah, when you said that trio, Medeiros seems a little off the wall for me.
So
But he's the
Medeiros-
one that keeps the conversation going better than any of the other two. Like he's a lot more, like he's a lot better as like hosting than the other two.
So the premise of this, I think, was that Hopper and Pepper have been on the same team at Wodapalooza for a while, and they always finish fourth. So they split up this year.
Okay.
So Pepper is with Medeiros
Okay.
and Willie Georges. Hopper is with Adler and Vellner.
Yeah.
And they're going to see if they can actually get on the podium.
Yeah.
So D. Reed, common story of a great junior athlete not becoming a great senior athlete. Some lack of je ne sais quoi. Did I say that well enough, Carolyne?
Yeah, it's pretty good.
It was good.
All right. All right. So then we have the Mayhem Classic, which got my teammates here a little fired up this week when it was revealed that they are selecting athletes using historical data and performances from the past to pick who they are going to invite to the Mayhem Classic as an in-person semifinal. So I'm going to open the floor to you two who, in our text string, were very adamant about not liking this new way.
Well, I just think it doesn't allow for new blood to be in there. I don't like the idea of going off history when you don't know that history was going to count and which competitions were going to count and whatnot. I think that's fine for like the Rogue Invitational and maybe other stuff that's not necessarily, it's more like an invitational and it's their own stuff. But if you're going to make it part of the season, I think every current athlete should have some sort of chance of qualifying through some sort of system that just makes more sense. I mean, I get there's some exemptions for or restrictions, I should say, for certain regions, but I just would have liked to have seen a version that can allow current or like upcoming athletes that haven't been competing or knew about this leaderboard from past competitions a chance to go to Mayhem.
Jamie?
Yeah, I mean, that's exactly right. It's not an invitational. Like that, I mean, that's the key thing. This is the platform to qualify for the games. You need this season entry point to do that. It like fair and square, starting new this year. Yeah, it's not an invitational. I think that's crazy to be invite only.
Like the fact, like if it was like during the Open, you use that leaderboard or online qualifier plus, I don't know, a few at-large invites from, like you could do something like that. But to have none of those be a factor and just be an invitational is, I don't know, to me, I was disappointed to see that, but I know that other people will be happy because they don't have to do their qualifiers and stuff. I just want to see, I just think it shouldn't be part of this season like that. It should be like, I get it's their comp, but if maybe just do a Mayhem Classic and it's not part of the season, like it's,
right.
And you can do that and you can make it your own Rogue Invitational, Mayhem Invitational.
I get what you guys are saying completely, and I can't disagree with you. To find the fittest on earth, you were finding the fittest on earth in 2025.
Mm-hmm.
So you don't invite the best from 2023 and 2024. You invite the best athletes from 2025 to compete for the fittest on earth. We don't give out lifetime achievement awards as an invite to these games. Back in the day, we used to have, if you're a past champion, you got to go straight to the games.
Like some didn't even compete last year. Like for instance, like Annie's on and she didn't even compete last year. Obviously she had a baby coming back from that, but like, and I get that she's won the games twice, been on the podium another time, like has all this historical, but like she still didn't compete last year to get points and she'll still get an invite. over some current athletes that have been at the games last year, for instance, or just new blood from this year, like this year.
Who are the best right now? Not, yeah, I get it. You have a lot of people. Jamie has a great point. Larry Young, Mayhem beats to its own drum.
Yeah.
Sarah Cooper, are they backfilling if people decline? I think Annie is in the list. Don't know if she is competing. The ladies are right. Shame on Rich. Agree.
I mean, they have like Gabby, they have Gabby there, but they didn't add Brent, and like Brent would be in that list of people, but they're assuming his retirement, but they're not assuming Gabby's injury or other people's stuff, which was interesting because they could at least put Brent if they wanted on that list. It's not like he shouldn't be on that list. I guess they're already assuming like they already put someone else versus having him there, allowing him to decline.
And there's Andrew saying that Gabby is on there. The first year is just a PR stunt. I think I've heard Rich say he does not want to add another qualifier to the slate of things that you have to do.
So use the open.
So I think they're throwing spaghetti at the wall and they didn't think it out, which happens a lot in CrossFit. We just ready, fire, aim.
Because they're before the semifinals, so like they can't use the semifinal. So to me, it should be use the open would be like the simple thing if they don't want to use a qualifier.
Yep.
Yeah, I don't think it's intent. I think they had a thought that they didn't want to add a qualifier competition to the plate of an athlete. There's already enough of those. And so they were trying to find a different way to do it. And this is just not the way that it should be.
It's just clicky. It's just I don't know how to. You have phenomenal athletes on that list, and don't get me wrong. I just would like to see a process where current athletes are represented.
I completely agree. I think those are the athletes that are missing out on both seasons, unless there's a qualifier that they can sneak their way in, or they can kill the open and then kill semifinals online. So, well, that takes us all the way to Wodapalooza, which is coming up in a week. And I have the workouts. So we'll go through the workouts, and then I just want your opinions on who will do well, who won't do well. Cluck, if we knew the whole season schedule, they could tie qualification to other sanctionals and even WFP events. I don't see the WFP tie-in yet.
Yeah.
Maybe someday down the road, but definitely not yet. And they're the first one. They're the first in-person event of the year, so they can't really tie into anybody else.
Right.
So, all right, let me share screen. Here we go. All right, ta-da. So here is the Tier Wodapalooza website where it has all of the individual workouts. We'll do those first. They're listed across the top, and then it gives you all the different formats for it. And so the first one is Cortadito 2.0. And that is 4-time 30, 20, 10 wall balls, 30 and 20 pounds, and then hang power snatch 105, 75, right into 15, 10, 5, thrusters 145, 100, and ring muscle ups. Thoughts? Starting with a bang.
What changed from Cortadito 1.0?
That was last year, so I don't really even know.
Yeah, I can't remember exactly what 1.0 was.
I could maybe. Do they have? There's Cortadito 1, just for you, Jamie. And who knows if this is even what they did. They may have had to change it due to weather.
Yeah,
And it was
I think that's
21:59 parallel bar dips, hang power cleans into 15:12.9 shoulder overhead bar muscle ups.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that got changed last year with like deadlifts or something. And bar fixing burpees.
Yeah, those dips were trash in that event, I feel
Yeah.
like. Yeah. This is a good
I think it's a
workout.
good workout. Normally with like a ring muscle up workout, I like someone like Vellner, but I think that's a lot of pressing with the thrusters, the wall ball. So I'm not sure how his pressing is going to be. That's normally a weakness, but I think I feel like Vellner should do well in this one. He normally does well at this type of stuff. Jeff should have no issue here.
Tristan is telling me this is the last event of the work weekend.
Oof.
So I don't know why they have them in this order on their website and then they change it. But I will look at the schedule here real quick while you guys are talking about it.
On the female side, I mean, Laura should do well. Lawson normally does very well with ring muscle ups. She doesn't normally particularly like thrusters, so it'll be interesting to see how she does there. Raptis and Ariel Lowen
I was thinking
are
Lowen.
very good.
Yeah.
I feel like Lowen has really good wall balls, great grip strength. I think
Mhm.
someone like Lowen could do very well here. She also does well in ring muscle up workouts.
Mhm.
Yeah, that is the last event of the work of the weekend.
I mean, someone like Austin Hadfield with the shorter range of motion could do well on that second part. We know at the games when he won those thrusters with the chest to bar and the bar muscle up. So if he paces well that first half, he could have a good kick on that second part.
It's a good pick.
Okay. So let's go to the real first event, which is 2 rounds too many.
Oh, this is the weighted vest one.
And
Yeah.
it is 2 rounds for time, 40 calorie bike, 1,000-meter run, 150 box step up or jump overs, 20-inch across, round 1 with a vest, round 2 without a vest.
Is it a actual run or a runner?
I think it's gonna be on the sand. They would have. I think they
Okay.
would have said assault
Okay.
runner.
You've been waiting. We're here to deliver.
While you guys are talking, I'll just let him, and hopefully they'll show us.
I think someone like James can do well here. He did well with the Chad, and he knows he's a good runner. He's good on the machines. A little bit taller for those step ups, should be fine. That's a lot of step ups or box jumps. Curious to see what the standard is for that, but that's a lot.
That's so many.
Like 300 total.
Yeah, that is insane. It's really going to come down to box jump over speed, a little bit of the run. I almost don't even think the bike's going to have much play in it.
So I think a taller athlete is going to do well here. On the woman's side, I mean, trying to think of
Emily.
Yeah, is Emily?
Yeah, this is
Competing?
a great one for Emily. She's great on really all three of these.
All of this, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I could see someone like Emily doing really well here.
Um,
And James as well on the men's side.
Yes. James is an excellent pick.
And those are the two that won Chad, right?
Yep.
Yep.
And they're both good runners and good on the bike. Like I think those two will be favorites to win this one.
Yeah.
Or at least top threes.
Chris G says it's on hard sand. They get to run on hard sand.
Like by the water.
Yeah, that's what
I still think Jeff can do well. Just
Yeah.
his conditioning in general is just above
He's
everyone.
an excellent runner. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So then The next one is Ocean Drive Drag Race, which is this one, which is 4-time. Oh my gosh. 21 18-calorie row, 21 toes to bar, sled drag, 1 minute rest. 18 15-calorie row, 18 toes to bar, sled drag, 1 minute rest. 15 12 15 sled drag, and the sled weights are round 1 light, round 2 medium, round 3 heavy. Thank you for the specifics.
I think Laura Horvath runs away with this one. Like, everyone's unbroken on those toes to bars. She's going to be able to outrow that whole field and we'll have no issues with the sled. Like, to me, like, I have, like, you're going to have to row at an uncomfortable pace and then be able to hold on unbroken. For those
The sled drags were in the sand, right?
I'm assuming, which I don't love because, like, depending on what lane you have, like, sled just has such a friction factor and it can depend a lot on just how straight it is and many factors there.
Do we know the distance of the sled drag?
We don't.
This is a little weird. I'd almost would have rather just seen it be like interval, like the 2-2-3 intervals with like the moving the sled a max distance each time, like as much as you can. I don't know. This is a little weird. The judging of the rest is going to be weird.
It is in the sandbox. The rain sandbox is what it's being called.
Yeah, I don't know.
The first 2 events are in the sandbox. Then the last one of the day is high stakes tight ropes. And that is 75 Velites heavy double unders, 90-foot handstand walk, 21 wall facing handstand push-ups, each arm 12 single arm dumbbell snatch, plus 12 single arm overhead dumbbell lunge, 6-4 legless rope climbs, and then back the other way.
Jesus.
I think Laura does really well again. I think someone like Annika will do well here. She's got good legless, good on her hands. Alexis Raptis, great, great on her hands and good with the legless. But I was really impressed at Rogue Invitational with Laura with that handstand walk and heavy double unders. And there's no one that has better grip strength than her. So, yeah, for the females, I would say those would stand out. Oh, wait, wall facing handstand push-ups. I missed that.
I was wondering, how is it's wall facing also? Did you say 2-inch or 21? I can't read that.
I'm going to zoom in.
21.
Okay. I feel like that's her. I feel like that one's not as bad for her. The wall facing handstand push-ups.
Yeah, I don't think she'll be stuck on it like she was on the Rogue Invitational one with the wall walk prior.
Yeah.
I think this will be less taxing on the shoulders than the complex of the Rogue Invitational is very taxing on the shoulders. You know what? The more I look at it, I think someone like Alexis could do some damage here.
Yep.
I do like Annika still, though. I just like a little dark horse here.
I'm not extremely familiar with like Lydia Fish's legless.
Yeah. True.
But I think she could do well here.
I think Ariel and Emily are going to be good here too.
Oh yeah. Trying to think of who else.
Is Danielle going individual or just team?
No, I don't know the answer to that.
I think she's just team.
I think wall facing handstand push-ups slow her down. I think she's going to be in Laura's boat on this one.
I think Wishart's going to do well here too. She's really, really good with legless. Firefighter. She did really well. I think she won at Crash Crucible, that deficit handstand push-up. She's got great upper body strength, stamina. I can see her doing well here too. Just throw on some names that people might not think of on the female
With all those box step-ups you've done earlier in the day and the running in the sand, how will that affect your lunge in this event?
It's not a lunging event.
Mm-mm.
Okay. Okay.
Like the lunge here is more like it's the shoulders. That's more with the single arm overhead lunge, but I don't think it has any factor.
Okay.
On the men, I mean, Jeff Adler should do well. Ricky. Trying to think of.
Isn't this kind of like a pat?
Mm,
No.
A lot of no for the rope climbs, yes,
yeah.
but he's not particularly super fast on his hands. Like
But
he's a
he's
really
steady.
good gymnast. His pulling strength is better than his pressing
Right.
endurance.
He's got long arms. He's got those monkey arms like that. That doesn't help the hand. You know, when you go up against someone like
Austin.
Hatfield's arms doing those handstand push-up, it's just not fair.
All right. So the next event is Worth the Wait, which is
I want to look at who's
this one.
Is this a lift?
4 max load, 3 attempts, 1 rep max clean and hang clean.
Got some heavy hitters out here. Got some lifters in the crowd.
I mean, Jack Farlow, Guy, Austin on the men's side. On the female side, you got to look at Laura,
Danny, Kyra,
Danny. Yeah.
Olivia. I mean,
Is she going individual or just the team?
Oh, yeah, I don't know. Again, she's another one I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Annika's got a good clean too. A lot of strong girls here. Yeah. I'll go with Laura, Spiegel, Kyra would probably be my top ones, maybe.
And then Guy's in this, right?
Yeah. Guy, Jack, I think are my
Adler.
top
That could be
2.
exciting.
Adler should do well here too.
All right. Then we have Cuban Press,
Ooh.
which is 4-time, 25 chest to bar pull-ups, 25 burpees over the blocks.
Yeah.
50 dumbbell bench press, 25 burpee over the blocks, and 25 chest to bar pull-ups, 70 and 55. I'm assuming those are the ballistic blocks and they're going to bench on those as well.
Oh.
That's
I wouldn't think that. I didn't think about them
about
benching on it, but
yeah.
I did a comp locally where they used ballistic blocks and that we benched on them.
Okay.
interesting. I don't think they will, but that would be interesting. I mean, I look at this workout and I just think about who's going to be the best at the bench press.
Mm-hmm.
I think the pull-ups at this level for the elites is unbroken.
25.
The burpees, you can make up some ground on some speed cycle there. And like that middle pressing. If you're breaking, how long are you breaking for? What's your range of motion? I mean, this is a short person workout.
Yep.
This is this entire thing is range of motion can play a huge factor. And how many sets people are doing.
So Tristan says, this one is actually, you do your chest to bar, you run and get your blocks, then do your burpees over them. Then you run and get your dumbbells and bench. Then you take the dumbbells back, do your burpees, take your blocks back, then do the chest to bar again.
So there's some transition work that's going to be playing a factor here as well, for sure. If that's the flow, thanks for that, Tristan.
Yeah.
That's a fun workout.
Yeah.
For these athletes, 70 pounds is going to be nothing on that bench press.
Right.
It's how fast the blood is going to rush to the shoulders, and then how tight you're going to get, and how much you can figure out the right pace to make it the whole way without too much breakage.
I think someone like Luke Parker can do well in this workout. Not win it, but no, close to a top 5. I'm just looking at the list of guys here that's competing.
Tristan says it's only 40 bench.
Just going off the website, my friend.
I mean, I think like Ariel will do good at this.
Yeah.
Men's.
Gazan.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Gazan, I don't think is competing individually. I don't think she's competing at Wodapalooza. She was, and then I think she got replaced by Domit on the team side of things. And I don't think she's doing individual. She had some sort of injury recently that she was dealing with.
Okay.
Tristan said they corrected it in the virtual brief that it's only 40. That's just a straight up sprint, man.
Yeah. It's a range of motion thing. I don't know.
I mean, Kyra could probably do well here.
Yes.
I think Kyra could do well here. She's great puller. I'm assuming that bench, she's super strong. Short for the burpees.
So then after all that, we actually come back and do Cordadita 2.
Okay.
Which is the wall balls, the hang power snatch, right into the thrusters and ring muscle ups.
I like that workout.
Yeah.
Emma Tall also.
Emma Tall.
Depending on her shoulder. I don't know how her lat is. I think it was her lat that she had issues with recently. So I don't know where she is in terms of her recovery. If this is just kind of like testing it out.
Yeah. All right. So let's look at the teams, which will be on the weekend. Let me see if I can find the order of that. There we go. So overhead squat is the first event. That is 30 overhead squats, 20 overhead squats, 10 overhead squats.
You pick your athlete that does which one? I'm assuming.
You see what I see?
Yeah.
I'm not so sure on that. I don't. That's a good question, Carolyne.
I think that's what it should be.
Yeah.
Like one does a lighter one for more reps, tags in. I don't know. I guess I haven't looked at the details of it.
And these videos don't really tell.
That's what I thought. They can do it in any order and switch when they want. That's what, because Healy was practicing this one.
Switch even on the same movement, or you have to have that person do.
No, I think like you could each do 10 on the light bar, and then you could each do
Gotcha. Team wise, I'm trying to think of the teams.
Seems like
someone like Medeiros has great overhead mobility. Like, I think Dallin Pepper's team with Justin can do well.
Yeah, Willie, if his shoulder's healthy, that's nothing for him.
Yeah, that should be good.
I think this screams Spiegel, Kyra, Olivia. Like, I mean, yeah.
Can I just say, like, if you want to grow the sport, hiding the details of like how this works makes it impossible for the fans to know what the hell's going on.
I agree.
Why does it have to be so secretive?
Yeah, it needs to be blatantly obvious so that people can be like practicing this stuff the right way. Like that's why you get athletes claiming ignorance or doing things, because it's not spelled out clear.
Or judges. You just make it easy on the judges, because how many times, I mean, I've seen at Wodapalooza where things just change from one heat to the next on what people were briefed. And like, if you release it early to the judges, to the athletes, it just prevents so many questions and heat issues.
I know the flow is at the bottom, but there's a couple of these workouts that
It still doesn't tell you can go in any order and switch back and forth.
I read the flow with Haley on several of them and was extremely confused, and that's just ridiculous.
It's awful. It should not be this hard.
Yep.
It shouldn't be. All right. Number 2 workout for the teams is block party. There we go. Here we are. 3 rounds for time. Team block, carry, and sled drag. 27 bar muscle ups. Athlete 1, 12. Athlete 2, 9. Athlete 3, 6. Team block, carry, and sled drag into 27 synchro burpees.
Fun. I like this one.
Thoughts, Carolyne?
I like it. I'm just trying to think of teams. On the women's side, I like Lawson's team with Danielle Brandon and Shelby Neal. I think that should be a good team here. Ariel Lowen with Rolf and Domet should do well here. I'm trying to think of who else.
Is Sprague doing team?
I don't think I've seen him on a team. I think Haley should do well with the Wells sisters. I mean, the girls' side of teams is much deeper than the guys' side of teams of 3. This year, anyways.
Vi says it doesn't solve the issue for fans, but they did already do the athlete briefing, right? So the athletes know the details at this point. Yeah. And that's great that the athletes know what they're supposed to do. But I don't know how many times I've been in an event where like I've had to pull a judge to the side and ask what the standard is so that I can cover it and actually make a logical assessment as to what's going on.
Yeah.
When Jamie and I are at events, we're doing that constantly because it's not explained. They should put the athlete brief out for us all to watch.
Yeah. Absolutely.
And everybody knows what the expectation is. But
I mean, even the announcers, you can tell they don't always know. And it's like,
well, and it's because sometimes it gets changed last minute and they want to have the flexibility to do that. But maybe we shouldn't be doing that last minute.
Right.
All right.
I think on the men's side of that one, I like Chandler Smith's team with Noah. I think they should do well here. Some good explosive burpees. Like, I feel like they're fast.
And Travis, right?
Yeah,
Travis and Noah.
Yeah.
All right. The third workout of the day is warm up, hands down. So here we go. 15 worm clean and jerks, 20 15-calorie echo bike each. Relay 2 15-meter handstand walk, 20 15-calorie echo bike each, 15 worm clean and jerks.
Oof. It's gonna come down to teams that have practiced on worms together.
Yeah, the worm clean and jerk is the hardest of all the worm movements, from my experience with it. So this one definitely, if you've touched the worm together as a team, will play a huge factor. And a lot of these teams have never touched a worm before, most of them being like individual athletes. Some of them might be spinning the wrong way, especially if some of the worms in the warm-up area, they can't touch as much because it just gets crowded in there. Yeah, this one will come down to the worm clean and jerk, because even if you're a couple seconds off of each other on the echo bike, it really is about the worm clean and jerk.
So teams that have worked together in the past, like a Noah, Travis,
Yes.
Chandler, are going to
Yep.
be better at this than teams that don't do this every day.
Yep.
Yep. And just having a confident person on the worm that is kind of directing the pace and the timing of everything is going to be super important. Who's going to lead for each team is, if you have too many people trying to go on their own paces, that can be detrimental to the team.
If you remember last year, there was like kind of a dawning of a new age where the European athletes that work together more often were doing better in the team competition than the names we knew that were like super teams.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think that'll continue this year?
I mean, in a workout like this, you could definitely, in a workout like this, if you have 3 team games athletes, they can for sure beat 3 individual athletes. People that have really good experience on the worm can for sure beat 3 more fit individual here.
Okay, so then we start Sunday morning with Race to the Top. Race to the Top is the first one. That is 4-time 1 to 10 rope climbs, box jump overs, all 3 alternating 36-30, and cleans at 255-175.
I did this one with Haley. It's gnarly.
So you do 1 rope climb,
Yep.
1 box jump over,
Each.
1 clean,
Yes. So
and then 2.
Yes. So everyone always has a box jump, and this is one I was very confused on. Where will the athletes stand? Will they always be standing at the box? And then someone goes to the rope and does a rope climb, or can they all go to the rope together and then all go to the box? Or I don't know. This one is very transition dependent. So I think knowing the flow of this one is extremely important. I would think you'd be standing at the box, but then again, if that's the case, then and you can only send one person to the rope, you probably need to really be strategic about on the round of 5. Do you send somebody who's doing all 5, or do you do 3 and 2, and that just, I don't know. You need to know the flow on this one.
So you have 55 rope climbs, 55 cleans. And yeah, okay.
Yeah.
And it doesn't need to be alternating. It just split it up how you want.
Yeah. From what I can tell, yeah, exactly. I could have done one rope climb. We all would do the box jump, right? And then Haley could have went to the clean, and then I could have gone back to the rope. I think you could put your gymnast on the rope for the most part, and your heavier person on the clean. But you're going to want to break it up a little.
Yeah, that's high volume.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think it's going to be a rope climb workout for the most part. Speed there.
Just how fast you get off, hold your rope for your partner to go on. That transition time there can play a factor. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it'd be better if it was legless.
Oof.
I think that would be too much.
It's too much. Yeah.
That's too many. That wouldn't work, especially for the girls.
Yeah.
That workout would take.
I want to separate
55 legless would be ridiculous.
Yes.
It would be bad, Scott. We're not there.
I want a train wreck.
No.
That
would be almost 20 legless in a workout for most. No.
So now we're 3-3-3-4, which is 3 4-minute rounds. Each round buy-in at the same time, 60 Velites heavy dubs, 500 meter, 400 meter assault row, 400 meter assault run. With remaining time, complete 60 synchro single arm dumbbell thrusters, 40 synchro single arm dumbbell snatches, 20 synchro single arm devil press and thruster.
This one's crazy to me. There's no rest at all. Like,
Mm-mm.
and you got to decide when you're stopping the, like, you got to be smart about when you stop doing your thrusters and get back to that machine so you're like ready to go, or you're just going to trail further and further behind in each buy-in. Oh, this one's gonna be gross.
You didn't try this one?
I did not. I told Haley I said I would try it with her. Just to, more so to like time the dub and runner. I don't have the heavy rope though. I have the Hades rope. We could use that, but it's a little bit different because that's like the Velites is the heavy handle.
Yeah, I've never used that rope. Is it heavy handle and cable?
I think it's a kind of heavy cable. Nothing like
but less heavy than the Rogue heavy.
Yes, I believe so.
Lynn says, this is spicy, like choose your devil type of thing.
Yeah.
And yuck on the devil's press thrusters. I mean, that's kind of what it is anyway, right? Well, you get the squat. Yeah.
When you have like the all females go, like the assault runner is the slowest one.
Right.
Because 400 meter row and 60 dubs is faster than 400 meter run.
Right.
So whoever is able to go off of that and right into would be
I
good.
think the runner is going to be slow, like all around for
Yeah,
everyone.
all around,
Yeah.
I would say. Well,
and
yeah.
And do you keep that? Like, you probably
That same person.
put your runner. Yeah, like if Emily Rolfe's on your team, you probably put her on the runner each time.
Put Jeff out there, yeah.
And they have the best endurance, so they can like pick up and do the next event.
Yeah.
Faster.
Yeah, this one's crazy. This one will be very interesting to watch.
And then we finish up with the trio triplets. The trio triplet is 150 ping pong wall balls at 30-20, 75 synchro toes to bar, 2 people, 150 foot worm lunge.
Have you ever done these ping pong wall balls, Carolyne?
Is it the one where you just throw it to each other? I had that yesterday with Lex.
It like you're standing next to each other, and
yeah,
that's what I think it is. There's no, again, this one has no.
That's what me and Lex had yesterday in a comp, but like it was like but we didn't both have to squat every time. It was like you did your wall ball, and then she caught it and did hers, and then I did mine. So you had like a rest every time, but that's the way that I had it yesterday. I don't know what the standard would be here.
I would assume that's probably it. But and then if you switch somebody out, which you're going to switch people in and out, you got to be quick about that transition.
You can do it without breaking.
Sure. I could see a mess happening though. Like, oh man.
I'm just looking at the movements. Like they've had wall balls for the individuals, lunges, and toes-to bars for the individuals. So I thought that there's going to be less overlap with the movements, but there's still some.
That was one of my questions to you at the end of this is, did they do a good job of not overlapping too many of the movements?
Like there's no max lift for the teams, right? Just that overhead squat, I guess. Is there a lifting one?
Nope, just the overhead squat.
We
Yep.
just did that in the clean. I mean, for those athletes doing both, it's just high volume in general, but I'm sure they're prepared for those 4 days. Starts on Thursday, Friday, individual, Saturday, Sunday teams.
Correct.
It's kind of there's kind of a lot of squatting, lunges, squatting amongst the whole weekend.
Some thrusters.
Mm-hmm. That's all right. They can handle it.
See, this is where I think, like, if your season is going to be more compacted, are you going to want to do an event like Wodapalooza and do both and kill yourself with 12 workouts instead of 6 or none before you get into like a more compacted season?
Yes, because there's money here.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like there's a lot of money to win. So yeah, you peak for this one. Like you peak for the ones that have the most money. Like it's you go after the money. Like this is one of the most highest paid competitions, which is also why there's a lot of great teams getting formed. On the individual side, it's loaded this year.
More people doing both this year than
Yeah, I mean, if you're going to be traveling and paying to stay, may as well make a weekend of it and try to get money both sides. Like,
Yep.
you know, that's some. If you're talented enough that you have a chance at winning some stuff, like you go for it. That's my mentality, anyways.
So, any overall thoughts on who's going to have a good weekend?
I think the usuals.
Yeah.
It's a lot of classic CrossFit. I don't expect too much of like. I mean, every year there's going to be one or two athletes that we maybe haven't known as much, and they're going to have a great weekend. And these happen to be 6 good workouts. Like in a weekend of 6 events, like sometimes it just falls into the hands of someone that has these good workouts. Like you just don't get exposed as much as a longer weekend of the games, which might have 12 to 15 events. But I think for the most part, you know, you're going to see Jeff, Ricky, Austin should have a good weekend.
Mm-hmm.
There's a few for James there. I can't think of all the guys that are there.
Ariel.
Yeah, on the women's side, Laura, Alexis, Ariel. Should do well. Is Emma Lawson competing individually or no? Or just team?
So.
Just team.
Yeah. I am looking really quick at.
Let me see if I have a dark horse. Let's pick a dark horse, maybe for the men and the women. Someone that wasn't at the games. It has to be someone that wasn't at the games.
Oh, geez. That Jessica Androsic. Just because I feel like she's very short and there's a lot of range of motion.
I'm very curious to see how Lucy Campbell does. That girl is so fit. Like that running one with the steps and the bike, that could be someone that challenges Rolf. If she's okay with her wrist, I'm curious to see how she does. I hope that she does well. I really like her.
How's Chloe going to do?
I was going to say her. I think there's some good ones in here for her, but
I'm trying to think of the individual ones.
You got the ring muscle.
She's great at ring muscle ups. Yeah. She's one of the best in the sport at ring muscle ups.
How's she on her
the
hands?
Thruster, handstand, she's awesome on her hands. I don't know about the thrusters. That front squat for her normally is a little bit weaker. I think it's 100 pounds. So, but her ring muscle ups are so good. Lucy, I'm excited. Lucy, I'm curious to see how she'll do. She had a great qualifier. Coming out of the teens, I think she's so fit. Could be a breakthrough year for her.
I'm anxious to see Lydia Fish, Lexi Neely, Jennifer Muir, Zoe Warren, just some of the young athletes that we usually see at the semifinal level.
I like Wishart too. Not sure how she'll do with the hang and clean complex, but everything else I like for her.
Yeah. And there's no drug testing here.
Is there?
Yeah.
I don't think so.
Pinero's there. She's clear. She's safe.
I think they should. They normally did before, didn't they?
I've never heard of it. But
Yeah.
does it mean it doesn't happen?
Let me see. On the men's side, I like someone that wasn't at the games last year.
Nick Matthew. Yeah, he's good on his hand. I think actually this could be a good comp for him. If his shoulder, at Crash, he seemed to be fighting some shoulder issues. So if he's healthy,
Like that chest to bar bench press one should be really good for him. Really good.
I think the handstand push up.
I think he just needs to survive that run bike. He's short for the bike. He's not, I don't think, a top runner. And the step ups might be harder for him as a shorter athlete. If he can survive that one, he's got a great clean. Should do really well in the clean event.
Mm-hmm.
Probably a top 5 or 6 on that one, actually.
Max Krieg is mine. He's just overall fit.
Yeah,
he is going to have a breakout at some point. It's going to happen. Ooh, Andrew Hiller. They have been drug tested at WZA before.
Yeah, I remember the athletes were getting drug tested before. I could see on their stories sometimes it would pop up.
That's when it was part of the game season.
Yeah. I'm going to throw in my friend Josh Gervais that I did his competition yesterday. He's competing in the elite division. He did really well in the open this year, had a penalty that took him out or in the quarterfinals. He's often really good. So I'm rooting for him.
Yeah.
But I don't think any major surprises will sneak into the top 5, at least. You might get one that sneaks into the top 10, but I think for the most part, on the female side, it's going to be your usuals. I think the female side is deeper. The men's side is very top heavy, but has a lot more room for play around that top 10 area. The female side, I think it's going to be much harder to crack that top 10.
Yeah. Well, the last thing I wanted to talk to you guys about is I'm going to share my screen one more time. I got to find it again because I went off of it. Is they put out their gauntlet workout, and we've been talking for the last few weeks about creating a gauntlet style workout that would travel from town to town and allow CrossFitters from that town to enter just like a High Rocks event, but go through like this hour-long event. And so we all created our own, and some of the listeners created their own, and now Wodapalooza has put out theirs. So I wanted to get your thoughts on what you thought of theirs. And that is right here. So, ta-da. So theirs is 55 minutes long, which is kind of where we were at too. Enough time to clean the floor and move on to the next round in the next hour. Workout 1 is 0 to 6 minutes, 1 rep max, 4 deadlifts, 3 hang cleans, 2 front squats, 1 shoulder to overhead. Workout 2, 9-minute AMRAP, 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, and so on. Calorie row, thrusters, and pull-ups.
Classic.
And that is, you keep going for the 9 minutes. Workout 3 is a 1,000-meter assault run immediately into workout 4, which is for time 3 rounds, 30 box jump overs, 20 toes to bar, 10 sandbag cleans.
Good one.
And then you finish up with 4 time, 25 alt hanging dumbbell snatches, 25 burpee over the blocks, 50 dumbbell bench press, 25 burpees over the blocks, 25 alt hanging dumbbell snatches.
Well, I hope they changed that to 40 bench if the pros only got to do 40.
Yeah. But Larry Young wants to do the 50 because that's his strength.
I think these are great events, easy to judge for the most part. The only thing, if it was a traveling gauntlet, I wouldn't want to see a max of anything. Like, I just don't want to. There's a lot of people. If you want to invite people like that would have little to a lot of experience, like, I don't even like to see anything sometimes super heavy go above head for some people.
Yeah.
Maxing out. That's the only thing I would maybe switch into something that maybe could progress in weight, where you're still testing strength, but not necessarily in a max event. There would be cool. But I like the workouts. I think there's a lot of really fun ones to do.
I mean, I wish there was something other than just run for that middle one.
Well,
I mean,
it's really
running's important to do, though.
Yeah.
3 and 4 are in the same 20 to 35 minute block.
Is it a separate score as their 1,000-meter run?
Yeah.
I'm assuming.
Mm-hmm.
But you have no rest. You go immediately into.
Well, you do, but you don't. I'm sure it depends on when you finish, because it's like it says what time workout 4 starts. Like at the.
No. If you look at them, both 3 and 4 start at 20 minutes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I think they messed that up. They should have, for workout 3, said 20 to 35 and left that blank for workout 4.
Okay.
Because it's in the same 15-minute block.
I gotcha. All right. Yeah, that's not bad. I like that then.
But I think we did just as good a job as
I do too.
As they did. I still think that's a great idea and a way to get the community back involved. And maybe you could do them at some of these in-person events as a way to bring the crowds in to try it. And then, hey, stick around for XYZ.
Yeah, because a lot of the semifinals and stuff, they had like fan workouts and stuff like that. You could have this, community event that would be traveling there easily. Yeah, I think it's cool.
John Young, congratulations, buddy, on the birth of your baby girl. As a girl dad, I know that is an awesome feeling, and I hope you enjoy every bit of it. But y'all talk about how Hatfield is going to win WZA yet? No, but we did talk about how Saxon Panchek will. No, actually, Austin came up a lot on each individual workout and how range of motion actually is going to play a big part in some of those. So he should actually have a pretty good weekend.
He will do well.
And really, Saxon did not come up at all.
It's true. Speaking of babies, did you see Marquand Jones and his girlfriend announced a pregnancy?
I did not.
Yeah. Congrats to him. He was one of my favorite people to interview.
Yeah. Mine too. Super fun. We are chilling on the couch right now doing some tummy time.
Aww.
And practicing the hook grip, I think I saw in your story there, John Young.
Strongest Olympic weightlifting baby in the world. So yeah. So Wodapalooza starts, I guess Be Friendly Fitness is the one broadcasting it this year. Is that what I'm hearing?
Oh.
Anybody hearing anything else? I'm not seeing any advertisements for anything else. But I'm sure it will be on the Wodapalooza YouTube channel somehow, some way. And with that, check that out. We'll be checking in maybe if we're around this next coming weekend, because it's supposed to be colder than all get out this coming week.
So bad.
Maybe we'll stop in and chat about it throughout the weekend. If not, we'll see you every day this week for lunch with the Clydesdale.
Are you guys watching the
on
Thursday game right now?
That's what I'm trying to get done here. The Ravens are marching down the field with 1:44 left in the game, down by 8. And so
down by
I'm going to hop off for that.
down by 2 and they're about to go for 2.
Oh, jeez.
Oh, now they are. I'm delayed.
Oh, sorry.
So with that, guys, we will see you all next time on Sunday Night CrossFit Talk. Bye.